one last topic here, underwriting. Touch on what the underwriting process looks like. What are we dealing with?
So probably the most important thing for talking is for you guys to get that contract to me as soon as possible. Just the contract, right? not
need the contract.
Just the contract.
Meat and potatoes here.
and we reach out to the buyer immediately, and we start that process of getting their disclosures to them and getting them to sign them. And 90% of the time, as soon as we reach out to them, and 80% of the people are signing their applications online now, and we have a handful coming in, and it's probably 95%. And only about 5% are coming in and signing face-to-face. But we usually go ahead and order the appraisal before we even get it to the process, and we send it to the processor and request her to open it, order the appraisal, and then we pass it on to processing. The processor is a huge piece of this because they get it set up so that we can get the file to underwriting to get that conditional loan approval. And that's the most important thing. That's when everything's been reviewed that first time, where we've reviewed they've accepted our income, they've reviewed our work history, and they reviewed the assets in most cases. And
so conditionally, all we're waiting on for is an appraisal at that point, right?
Right.
Everything's good as long as the title work, yeah.
At times we have the title work just 90% of the time it's right there the second day, or when you guys put it in or we put it in, we reorder it because you guys order it and sometimes it's not right and we have to get it right, because you don't have the name as the same or something's there and has to be reordered. But you guys order it and we order it too at the same time, and then they try to make it all blend before they send it out. But that at times can be an issue depending on what comes up on it.
On that,
watch that.
Got to work that out.
On that and the appraisal, and then we're rocking and rolling there. We tried to talk about a timeline. We wanted to get that in there.
Oh yeah, how long? Right. So how long?
In most cases, right now we can close one in 30 days. We pushed this one. I think was a little over 3 weeks. Because he wanted to,
the house fell through on another deal, and so we had an opportunity about it. There was another person involved, so we wanted to push it a little faster than 30 days because I knew the sellers were wanting to get rid of the property fast.
Right. So we went ahead and did that, pushed it up. I think we're right on. We got the appraisal back. It was good, but that's when you reach out to your loan office and say, hey, can we do this? And I go, let's do it.
Or you ask forgiveness later. No, don't actually do that. They get very angry with that in most cases.
Sometimes they send it and then we make it work.
Yeah.
That's generally we can push it. But for comfort level, I kind of like to think 35 days. Because you guys, when you put your offer in, a lot of people will start when they make their offer, they'll do 30 days from that day. But if you got to allow a couple days for negotiation. You
got to have inspections. So, by default in the contract.
When you guys write it up, you need to think maybe 35 days because you may counter back and forth a whole week and then get it to me. And then you got me back on that 3 days.
Right.
3 weeks.
It's hard, yeah.
Right? So, if you think that, but in most cases, and we can probably still pull that off, but it really dictates, the timeline dictates the market. How many appraisers are available, where USDA is at their underwriting. Right now, they're on a 24-hour, boom, we get it.
You got it done.
That's not a problem. But the main ones, VA, we may still need to lean toward the 45-day because in reality, they give the VA appraiser a full 14 days to get it to us, and a lot of times they don't deviate from that.
Speaking about the appraisal process, probably one of the biggest ones, and the appraisal contingency. So by default in our Missouri contracts, the appraisal contingency is only 25 days. So you need to make sure the loan officer realizes that, because if the contract's for 35 days and you don't get the appraisal back till day 30, if it appraises under and you're past that 25-day appraisal contingency, the buyer has no recourse to go ask that seller to reduce that price. Technically, they're liable to bring more cash to the table.
So when you guys go to the table, can you extend your repair deadline to match up on the government loans with the anticipated time of the appraisal?
They're two different timelines. So the government loan writer discusses the predication work. And so that's a 35-day negotiation by default. That's separate from your inspection contingency. For predication work.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yep.
Because a lot of times they're pushing us to get the appraisal done so they can just make
it all one together.
Right.
But yeah, that's harder said than done.
Right
but sometimes I don't like that, because if you do have inspection problems and you don't think you're going to get to the table on the inspections, like you're talking major foundation, mold, something that you're not going to, it's going to kill the deal. If you feel like it's going to kill the deal, don't hold it up just for no reason, because can be an issue too. But you don't want your buyer to pay a $500 appraisal if you're not going to get the inspections negotiated. So if you feel a deal's going south and the appraisal hasn't happened yet, you should call the loan officer and put a pause on it potentially. And once again, especially new agents out there, if you're thinking about doing that, why don't you have a conversation with me first?
Yeah.
On there. But
the communication there is, I put appraisals on hold all the time.
Yep.
And when I talk to my buyers, I talk to them, if you have a major roof, foundation, electrical, plumbing, the 4 major things,
we might want to hold.
Call me, we'll put it on hold. I can flip it off hold in 28-4. As soon as you tell me, most generally you're going to write that up, get it in 3 days, you're going to have an answer, and I can get it going right again.
And I will say I'm an open book in most cases with the listing agent if I've got the buyer. I'm going to say, hey, I'm scared on this, I'm pausing the appraisal. And that'll actually help you in those repair negotiations too, because that tells them that you're going to walk away.
Right.
And so and if you end up holding the appraisal up and then you work it out and they find out the appraisal got held up and it delays things, they're going to be awful angry at you. Communication with the listing agent's important too. And if you're negotiating an inspection notice and you say you're holding that appraisal until you work it out, they're going to be more likely to do your repairs. So, I think we pretty much hit most of our list. I would love feedback on this. If there's things we miss, we can do another video that's more specific. We tried to hit on all high-end topics to give you the power to sound like a trusted professional out there. But we can dig in on smaller videos, more specific videos. Make sure and use the Gershman Home Buying Guide. This is like your quick survival guide. You can flip these pages and this has most of the information we talked about on here. So if you want a copy of this, if you don't have it, it's out there, I believe on our intranet still, but I can always send it to you, or they actually print off these really nice ones too when they come. But other than that, guys, appreciate you listening to us for basically, over an hour and a half at this point.
Right. One thing I'd like to throw in there, you can't remember all this. I don't remember. You see, I don't have my numbers down on everything. But the most important thing, I can go look and make sure I understand. So the most important thing about this whole conversation, you just need to remember, hey, that was important. What am I missing? And ask a question. Mm-hmm. If you want to be successful in this, you have to recognize issues. And I was told that a long time ago. If you don't see the issues, you're not going to survive. And if you don't see the issue, and if you see the issue and you don't react to it, you're just causing a problem. It's a problem.
It gets very stressful too.
It is.
Yeah.
So, but if you know going in, that's why I do such a detailed job on my pre-approval, because I try to answer everything I possibly can so that I have a solid pre-approval from my experience and the thing I experienced before and what I've seen. And that's the same way with you guys. As you talk to these people, they might have an issue. I definitely got to get them to an underwriter or to a loan officer. And then the same way with the property. What did he say about that foundation? What do I need to look for? A crack? What do I need to address? Just simple things like that, but you've got to react to them.
Yeah, you got to be upfront, honest, and be ahead of the game.
That's where it puts you ahead of the game, because a lot of people ignore those little things.
Yep, and then you don't close and you got pissed off clients.
We don't want that.
We don't.
We want to build that pipeline.
Awesome, guys. Well, appreciate the time today, and feedback's always appreciated, and let us know what you think.
Cool. Good job.
Boom.